Why should I eat raw foods? You know, that's a question people are asking themselves now, and they didn't ask themselves that before.
Aloha, I'm Laura Fox, and we are at Expo East in Boston. What we've been doing mostly is walking around to all the booths that have raw food businesses going on, because we're exploring what is going on with the raw foods movement. What you're going to find out is there's some very exciting things going on, so let's go.
This is the first time we've been to this show.
As far as the raw food movement is concerned, it's really important.
Like you say, raw foods, we're trying to get away from treatment and get back to Mother Nature.
We want light in our food and our products.
The more you process something, the more you treat it, the worse the product is.
It's a grassroots movement.
The raw food movement is definitely headed in a positive direction.
Organic followed some of the same patterns. It grew up really fast from grassroots.
It's gaining momentum.
Where it's going, you know, it's very hard to say. It seems to be getting bigger and bigger, and as I've heard from you and other people, it's already a massive industry in just a very short period of time.
What would you say if I told you that the raw foods movement is now $1 billion+ industry?
Right now, like with a B? $1 billion. That's miraculous. That makes us incredibly. That gives us somewhere to go, something to shoot for. It's amazing. Yeah.
It's going into more and more grocery stores all the time.
When people who are new to raw foods come in and they're like, I want to add more raw foods to my diet, of course I go to the produce section, but where do I go? Where's the raw food section?
Stores are starting to pick up raw products.
I think people's lives are being saved by it, and I think that the mainstream consumer is starting to, what's raw? What does that mean? What does it mean for me? How do I get that? And I think that what we've done that's helping that is that we've really tried, exactly what Jennifer said, to really meet them where they are. And I think that meet them where they are and then bring them slowly to us.
That's so funny because some people are like, raw food, does that just mean like a raw ingredient? Well, like in their terms, what do they mean by raw, you know? Because we're so into that, we know what we mean by that. But we have to tell people, that doesn't just mean there's like baking soda and flour, those are raw ingredients. They're raw, living, and they completely decompose organically back in the soil and mineralize our earth. And that's what we're really looking for. And that's sustainability. We want to keep that green eco full circle going.
The best thing that we can do for our health, for our energy, for the environment, for animals, is to go on a plant-based diet and a whole food plant-based diet. Saying, you know what? Eating real food makes sense. That's where we get energy. That's where we get hydration. That's where we get nutrition. And that also has the least, it builds muscles too. It has the least negative impact on the environment too.
Also, obviously, environmental implications. If you eat food that uses less energy to produce, fewer resources, like less water, less land, all of that. Obviously, then that's benefit. You get more food while expending fewer resources. So that's kind of a pretty broad benefit of plant-based nutrition as well that we want to kind of make convenient for everyone.
I think we're moving from, being very isolated segment of the population, the food industry, to being mainstream. And I think we're doing that in a lot of ways through our communication of how we're talking to the consumer. I think we're doing that through, making our prices really affordable, making it fun.
Our company, we've been the first raw, for us, kale chips in a lot of markets. Of course, on the West Coast, it's been a big thing for a while and established, but we're going into places like Florida, we're moving into like Alabama, Mississippi, and the Midwest, so it's spreading. So it's pretty exciting to be a part of that cutting edge in the grocery business.
The reason why I think it's important, and the reason why I'm personally so dedicated to promoting the raw foods movement, is because when people are adding more raw, organic plant foods to their diet, their health increases.
That was my motivation. I went to, like you say, race professionally, do Ironman triathlon full-time as a job, and that's why I got into nutrition, and that's why I got into eating plant-based, because I knew when it was done right, it could work really well and make me a better athlete.
People can do anything from 100% raw to occasionally I'm adding more plant foods to my diet. And to me, the open conversation with humanity is, let's add more plant foods to our diet. especially in their raw natural state.
One of the things I see being incorporated more and more in the raw right now is the local food. I hope that we go more local. It can't just be about personal health. I think eventually it has to be about personal health and the whole being able to sustain the farming. Local farming, small farming, not big farming. I mean, organic has taken us all the way into the industrial farming now, and we see that it's a good step, but it's not where we want to stay. We have to keep going. So we have to find answers.
But we have billions of people eating, as you all know. Billions of people eating 3 and 4 times a day is a huge industry. It's enormous, and I don't think we fully grok all the time the impact that that has on our environment. We know that the oil industry has an impact on our environment, and let's really start thinking about how huge the impact of food is on the ecological situations and how big of an impact we can have as people, modifying our habits, choosing products that are in natural packaging, choosing products that use less processing, choosing products that are fresh grown. You know, all this is going to choosing products that are not animal products.
That's very, very important because animal lives matter, the planet matters, ecosystems and habitats matter to those who live in those areas. Regardless of what species they are, regardless of where they come from, who they are, whatever, everybody wants to live in a very peaceful and free place. And we can help do that by eating healthy foods that don't infringe on another species' ability just to live and have their own families and be free and do their own thing.
All this is going to reduce our impact on the planet, which I think we can all agree, right, is kind of what we need to do at this point. So these are some of the reasons why I'm personally dedicated to helping people add more plant foods to their diet through the raw foods movement.
Raw foods as a movement is here, and it's been here, and that's growing. You know, blogs, the internet, that's where it's really at. People are now introduced to it by shopping. They go to the store, they see a product on their shelf, and they're like, what is that? Wow, it's a raw foods product? Well, why raw? You know, why should I eat raw foods? You know, that's a question people are asking themselves now, and they didn't ask themselves that before. So they're getting introduced to it. It's pretty exciting to be a part of that.
And if I can switch one person from having their, I'm not going to name any companies, but their, corn syrup sweetened, white sugar sweetened chocolate bar over to something like ours, so that they can feel satiated much faster, they're not consuming as much, they're switching it up. That is a victory to us. That's a victory for their health. And that's what we're all about. Those small victories that turn into lifestyle changes.
Any step in the right direction is a good step.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Yay! Go Newport Girls!
If you ever want to be,
Tell your friends.
Wow, that was really exciting. Way to go, Raw Foods Movement. I love meeting all these manufacturers and producers of raw foods and really realizing that our industry is growing and thriving. So let's stick together, let's get together, let's find ways to support each other and enhance the raw, vegan, plant foods movement. You know what? Anyone who has anything to do with educating about or bringing products to the marketplace that help people eat more plant foods is really doing a great service to the planet, to our communities, and of course to your own health. So you know what? We have a little planet on our hands. It's a delicate time. It's an important time for this movement, and I just want to give a big shout out to everybody who's involved and say, let's go for it. Let's transform our lives. Let's bring more harmony to the marketplace, and let's eat more plant foods. What would you say if I told you that the raw foods movement is now a $1 billion+
I've been trying to think of
industry?
something right now, like a lot with a B? A billion.